Hi guys, and welcome back to At Home with Elisa. Today I wanted to cover part 2 of the Great Sweet Pea Experiment that I did. I'll link my video below with the first part 1. However, in part 1 I actually tried 3 different ways of germinating sweet peas. They are a little bit notorious for being hard to germinate. I haven't had too much of a problem myself previously, but I thought give an experiment a go and see if I could find an easier way. So I tried 3 different ways. I did what I usually do, which is just planting them and keeping them damp. I tried pre-soaking them I think I pre-soaked them for about 2 hours and then planted them out. And I also tried a different method which I've seen people do, where they put the seeds on some damp paper towel and put them in a little plastic baggie and let them germinate that way, and then on plant them. So I thought I'd just go through the results. I did try 6 different varieties of sweet peas just to make sure that I was trying different ones, trying, broaden the experiments a little bit. So the varieties that I tried, they're all Mr. Fothergills seeds varieties that I tried. I tried Nimbus, I tried Valerie Harrod, I tried Singing in the Blues, also Bijou Mix, Perfume Duet, and the last one I tried was Norman Wisdom. So all of those are colours that I would love to have in my garden come springtime. I'm planning for a really big colourful spring garden. All of those are ones that I would really love to have in my garden, and there was a few that I hadn't tried before, like Nimbus. I haven't given that one a go, so I just thought it was really different, so I'd give that a whirl. But I'll show you the results of the experiment now. So as you can see, this is the reason why I need to get a greenhouse up and going. So that is in my plans coming up for May. But these are the experiments here. So this one here is the one that I tried just doing my normal routine, which is just planting them and keeping them damp. I am a gardener that tends to keep things a little bit too wet, and it can be an issue. But these ones here, I think I had really good germination across all the different seed types. So 6 different varieties. I think that they did really, really well. They're just getting to the point now where they're starting to get the little tendrils and want to start climbing. So I definitely need to do something about those. These ones here in the black pots, there's one for each different variety. But these ones here in the black pots, I think were actually they were actually some of the slower ones that I've tried. So these were the ones that were put in the plastic baggies. So that different germination mode of putting them into the baggies in the damp paper towel. And then these last ones here, these are the ones that I actually pre-soaked. There's a tag, my pre-soaked tag. These ones did really well as well. So I was happy with both of them. As you can see, the little tendrils coming on. So I'm really happy with all the varieties that I tried, because all of the germination rates were fantastic. But I think going forward, I think I'll probably just stick to keeping it simple. So obviously the baggies, just sort of messing around with those took a little bit of extra time. The pre-soak obviously takes a little bit extra time, but I'm just going to go back to keeping them damp. So next year I won't worry about it. I'll just go straight with my old method of keeping them nice and damp. I keep them up here on the balcony, and they are doing really, really well. So yay. So I'll just give you a close-up. Look at those healthy roots. So that is obviously, these ones are planted in pots, and I can see, I'm assuming that these black ones are fine as well. These were all planted about a month ago, so that's when I tried germinating. But I've got nice healthy roots in all of them, which is fantastic for planting out into the garden. That lets you know once you get your little tendrils and you can see the roots at the bottom, it's time to plant them out into the garden. So it is perfectly fine to disturb sweet pea roots. They're not that precious. You just don't want to damage them when you're planting them out. So just before we go and plant them, the first thing that we need to do is we need to just cut their heads off. Sounds very dramatic, but we need to just cut their heads off. Sweet peas are one of those plants that the more they flower, the more you cut them, the more they flower again. So we start that early, and we start them branching off early. So first thing that you need to come and do is, you can just see here, you've got 1 set of leaves, 2 set of leaves. So you want to come along with some sharp secateurs or sharp scissors. People do it with their fingers, but I think it damages them a little bit. And you just give it a little snip, So I need to go through and do that with all of these. So I'm gonna make a nice little mess up here on the deck, but I need to go through and just cut all of them off. As you can see, they're definitely past needing to be planted out. But I'll just go through and do all of these now. There is one here that's bent over, so it's going to have a weak stem, so I actually won't plant that one out into the garden. That's just, see you later. So I won't worry about that. I always over sow, just because then that way if I do have any problems with my germination or anything like that, I don't really have to worry about it too much. So cut them all off come second, and one more. Beautiful. So that's what I'm left with. I know it seems a bit dramatic to cut their heads off after you've spent so much time babying them, but you really do end up with more flowers this way. So that's what we want. We grow them for flowers. So that is now ready to get going into the garden. So I'm just going to go through and snip all the rest of their heads off, and then I'm ready to plant them out. Okay, so they've all had their heads cut off them now. As you can see, they're quite a bit shorter, but it is for the better of the plant. They will bounce back quite quickly. I did have some sneaky little green grubs, tiny little ones that have just affected some of the leaves on the plant, so you can see the coloration. So I squashed those while I was at it, but I'm ready to go plant those into the garden now. I do have, I think you would have seen before, I have a diary, I have a plan of how I like to lay things out in the garden. So I have plans for each individual variety of these. So I'll get those planted now according to my plan in the garden. So when you have multiple in a pot like this, you just want to be careful not to damage the roots too much. They don't mind their roots being disturbed, but obviously you don't want to damage them too much. So let's hope this goes all right. Just in there, then that way I can pull each individual one off and plant it as I need to. So with each plant, I just want to be careful to hold it by the roots so that I don't damage them too much. And then I'm just going to plant them along this trellis here. I am hoping to plant out both sides of the trellis, but it won't be today as I haven't got that other garden bed prepared as yet. sweet peas out. I just planted this one side of the arbor. I still have this side here to go, however this bed just needs to be put together again. I had, as you can see behind, I had some sinkage just because I did the hugelkultur method and it sinks over time. I do have another arbor leading into the orchard that I would like to put sweet peas over, and I have, if I can just zoom around, right behind me down there I have a large back fence. This whole garden's about 160 square meters, and I have a large back fence down there that I actually want to put another row of wire on and grow sweet peas along there. So that is a large area. So I think I've got, honestly, I think I've probably got another 50 plants to plant. So the majority of them will go down the back there just to give it a nice screen. I do plan on putting star jasmine down there as well, which will obviously over time will take a little bit longer to establish than sweet peas will. But they do grow to about 2 meters and they do like to have a nice trellis to grow on. So that should work really well and give me something nice in the background. Just as I was finishing up, I just gave them a light feed with sea salt. They actually haven't had any as yet, and as they're seedlings, it really needs to be a weak solution. So I've given that to help them settle in. I do know that in, not tomorrow, but the day after, we have rains setting in again. So that should take care of the watering for me, but I will give them water again tomorrow. But that's it, that's how I do them. So thank you very much for watching. If you do like this video, please consider subscribing, and until next time, I'll see you then. Thank you.